Good morning, Holotable heroes, and welcome back to another Galaxy of Heroes video. I'm your boy Scribble, and today we'll be getting galactically challenged in space. The Resistance are facing off against the First Order in a reenactment of The Last Jedi, everybody's favourite Star Wars film. Are you ready to be galactically challenged? The global modifier for this particular galactic challenge is Last Stand. Essentially, when a ship loses all of its protection for the first time, they're gaining retribution for one turn. When we fall below 50% health, they gain defense up for one turn. And when they fall below 25% health, they are gaining damage immunity. All of these buffs are dispellable, they are not locked. There is also the Afterburner modifier. Essentially, after an attacker's turn, they gain speed up for one turn, and whenever an attacker is targeted by an enemy, if they have speed up, they lose it and gain chaff one turn, which I believe stops target lock. It does stop target lock. Again, all dispellable. Our benefits, the player modifiers, is Fearless Fortitude. Essentially, if an enemy is hurt by a debuff by a resistance ally, they will gain heal over time for one turn, and whenever a resistance ally gains a buff, they also gain stacking potency, crit chance, and critical damage until the end of battle, and they gain 10% additional turn meter. Quite nice, but it's not going to factor into whether or not we win this particular galactic challenge. The enemy modifier is Relentless Pursuit. Whenever a First Order ally scores a critical hit, they are gaining stacking protection up, and hunted enemies deal less damage to First Order enemies, and if the First Order enemy defeats a hunted ally, they recover 100% health and protection. There is a lot of sustain in this enemy team. But fear not, your boy Scribble has all the solutions for you to get this done. 3 separate fleets that can get every single one of these feats done in just one battle. So we need to win with 3 resistance ships, we need to win after gaining taunt 3 times, and we need to win after attacking out of turn 10 or more times. Let's start getting down into the battles, shall we? Starting off, fleet number 1. This I find to be the most powerful fleet to be using in this particular circumstance. It is those of you that have got the latest and greatest, the shiniest and newest fleets. Profundity, featuring a standard Rebel starting lineup. Millennium Falcon, we've got the Outrider and the Rebel Y-Wing. On our defensive bench, we've got Biggs for an extra source of taunt, and we've got 3 resistance ships. I recommend one of those resistance ships be the SF-17, that is the tank that can taunt from the resistance fleet, but it is not necessary. You can get all of the feats still done with this fleet without worrying about the additional taunt. The reason this fleet works, of course, is because it has got simply a boatload of attacks out of turn, loads of assists. It's what the Rebel fleet is made to do, but not only that, we do have dispels on a basic from Millennium Falcon thanks to having a a Rebel capital ship. Highly recommend you immediately target down the Silencer, because he is actually the only real threat in this team. He can ramp up a lot of damage. After that, you are free to target whoever you want. I've called in Biggs as the first reinforcement because he is another taunting tank. We've had at least 2 taunts, and all we need to do is get another target lockout, and that will give us 3 taunts. You will definitely get that done just through natural course of going through this battle. You could probably even put this on full auto and still get every feat done. You don't have to worry about calling in the resistance ships. They do not need to be active on the front line in order for that to count. So the lovely thing of the Millennium Falcon being in here means if the enemy does get damage immunity, you can just basic your way out of it, and the enemy will no longer have that damage immunity. We can even send the Tantive forward to take the Finalizer out for a merry-go walk around, and makes things even easier for our Rebel fleets to simply dominate the First Order. If this is how the fleet fight would have gone in The Last Jedi, I think there would have been an entirely different outcome. So, just a TIE fighter pilot left now? Oh no. Damage immunity, whatever shall I do? I'll just call in the SF-17 to ensure that we absolutely 100% bona fide get that additional taunt in that we need. Easy peasy. But don't worry, I'm not going to expect everybody to have the Profundity fleet. We've got 2 other fleets that we can get this done with. Let's hop in to battle number 2. Battle number 2 is using the Executor fleet, much like the Profundity fleet. Yes, this is a more modern fleet, but it can get it done just as easily as the Profundity. Note you don't quite have the same sort of damage output as the Profundity. You aren't able to dispel all those buffs quite as easily, but it is still a very powerful fleet. I'm going in with the starting lineup that you would normally expect the Executor to have, mostly being Houndstooth, Xanadu Blood, and the Razor Crest. On the reinforcement bench, we've got 3 resistance ships. Again, they are not necessary, but it's good to take them in. Take the SF-17 as one of those resistance ships to give you that extra source of taunting. In addition to that, I believe we have got the Slave 1, Boba's ship, as that also gives us an extra taunt, but plays into the Bounty Hunter synergy that Executor has. What you will notice with this particular fleet is that you don't quite have the same sort of damage output. You're not ripping through the enemy fleet quite so quickly, but neither are you in any real danger of losing a ship. The Houndstooth is able to tank quite convincingly against this fleet. You only have to worry about the Silencer. He is the one that's going to be dealing all the damage. I don't know why I decided to heal Xanadu Blood here. He was basically a perfectly healthy ship, but sometimes you just need a bit of self-loving, I guess. So we've triggered the contract there from Razor Crest, and you can see just how much recovery the enemy fleet has got. It is absolutely absurd. However, fear not, ladies and gentlemen, we have got good damage output. Boba Fett there dropping his depth charge bomb, dealing a significant amount of damage. I don't know why I didn't call in the SF-17 there. It probably would have been smarter for me to ensure. We tried to bring in Poe over here because I thought, well, Poe does have quite a bit of damage output, but apparently not nearly enough. The TIE Echelon is incredibly tanky. Xanadu Blood and Razor Crest both have additional attacks out of turn. Xanadu Blood can even attack out of turn on his own basic, so the 10 attacks out of turn that we need to do, that feat is going to be incredibly straightforward and easy on this. And again, you do not need to call in the resistance ships in order to satisfy the feat requirement. So long as they're on the bench, that's all that matters. This isn't like the Rebel fleet. That's right, the Rebel fleet, where they say it's 3, but it's actually 5. This one is simply just 3 ships. As you can see, the TIE Fighter pilot over there is just hanging on for dear life, but I'm fairly confident that he's not going to survive once he loses that damage immunity. Looks like the game had a little bit of a bug there. We get an additional taunt in off our Houndstooth, but that shouldn't really matter at this point. Again, if you call in the SF-17 instead of Poe, you will absolutely, definitely get those taunts done without any issue. We are just 1 turn away. I'm deliberately not attacking the other ship, by the way. I want to see if I can get the ultimate off. We are 1 turn away from getting our ultimate off from our capital ship, and who doesn't want to see the Death Star blow up the finalizer? I think it really does establish who was the superior faction there between the Empire and the First Order. So here we go, Death Star, laser beams go brr. Super smashing, great. Special Forces TIE Fighter Alpha Betty Spaghetti pilot over there just hanging on. And he's gone. Beautiful. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to expect anybody here to have Profundity or Executor. We have 1 more fleet that can get all the feats done in just 1 battle. Time to go to battle number 3. And battle number 3 uses everybody's favourite separatists. We are going in with a Malevolence fleet here, so obviously GG as the capital ship. We're throwing in Hyena Bomber, Vulture Droid and Sun Fac. That is 2 sources of tanks at the start of the game. And we've also got the 3 resistance ships on defense, as well as the Houndstooth. So lots and lots of sources of taunts. You don't need to worry about damage output because the Vulture Droids with the Buzz Droids and the Hyena Bomber is going to deal with most of that. As you can see, we've already had 2 taunts. We get a nice stun, lots of attacks out of turn here. Very, very easy, very, very straightforward. When you get an opportunity, I'd recommend you reinforce with the Houndstooth because he is going to be a very useful tank to be having. As you can see there, just 3 resistance capital ships. That would be interesting. 3 resistance ships on defense, featuring the SF-17, the Millennium Falcon, and I believe it was Poe's ship. Houndstooth there, 3 taunts, all successfully done. Easy peasy. Definitely getting the attacks out of turn. Essentially, Hyena Bomber, whenever he targets an enemy that has got Buzz Droids on, he will call his additional Vulture Droids to assist, which is lovely. I mean, sure, there is the occasion where if it is the summoned Vulture Droids, they only have a 70% chance to assist, but that should be enough. We can even cleanse off that stun from the Silencer with the first special from the capital ship, making everybody very, very happy. Normally I'd recommend obviously going straight for the Silencer, but in this scenario it was easier for me to kill the Echelon and the command ship before targeting down the Silencer. As you can see, it's very, very straightforward with this fleet. There are no problems at all in getting this done. You easily get the taunts, you easily get the attacks out of turn, and you're never in any danger of actually losing the battle here. So, just have to wait for the TIE Fighter pilot here to get out of crit damage immunity, and we are good to go. As you can see here, when the feat rewards come up, you see I get every single feat done in just this one battle. This was the first team that I used, and that's probably the first team that you should all use because it's so easy. I love an easy Galactic challenge, don't you, ladies and gentlemen? And that is going to about do it for today's episode of Galactically Challenged. Take to the comments section down below, let me know which fleet you use, and tell me how your Monday is going. So until next time, may the Force be with you.